the ninth pick in the NFL draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select.
Vernon Hargraves out of Florida.
Now, a lot of people are going to go, well, the Bucks don't necessarily need another corner. They went out and signed Brent Grimes from the Dolphins, who's a very good corner, but he's a very seasoned corner
Yes.
to go along with a few other added pieces. But in a lot of people's view, he's the most talented defensive back behind Ramsey. At number 9, this is great value to get a top elite corner.
Yeah, they do, and he had a great season last year, but more importantly, he's going to a team that is kind of younger, and they don't have the best defense. They're not really known for the defense. Last year they made the big splash with Jameis, and there were times where it turned out for them and it looked great. And on defense, they do have some good guys. They're not a very talented by name sort of defense, but they do have some talent on the defense, kind of lower key levels of players that can shine. And this is going to be a guy who will fit very well in that defense.
Jameis Winston's first pass, though, didn't work out so well for him. It was a pick 6 against the Titans, so I mean, not everything's going to go your way, but Jameis Winston is going to be a good quarterback. It appears that way. It helps when you're throwing the ball to Mike Evans. But at the same time, it would be great to see Evans go up against Hargraves in practice. Those two will go at it.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a great matchup. Although Hargraves kind of has the disadvantage of only being 5'10", but he's athletic. I mean, the guy is going to be a competitor, and if you go to Tampa, you're dealing with a pretty difficult division. I mean, Carolina, we all know last year how they did, but the Saints are by no means an easy matchup.
Drew Brees knows how to air it out.
Exactly, and the Falcons have Julio Jones, and if you're going to be the number one corner there, that's going to be a pretty tough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be a very challenging role for him, but this is a great pick for Tampa. As we just said, they do have a tough division. And Carolina Panthers, they're getting back Kelvin Benjamin, another tall 6'5" guy who will go up and be physical. You need to be able to compete with that. And Brent Grimes is not the biggest guy on the other side of the ball. He's not going to make the most plays. I think he's 5'10", same height as Ramsey. They're both kind of short corners. Not Ramsey, I'm sorry. Hargraves. And they're both short corners who are going in a tough division, especially in the passing game. So you definitely have your work cut out, but it's a great pick because you do need depth there.
He has the instincts. He is a ball hawk. He knows sometimes he peeks into the backfield a little bit too much, but what corner doesn't, let's be honest. In addition, he has the ability to catch up to receivers. He has closing speed and good speed. That's why he is a top 10 pick. 5'10", you might go, oh, that's short. That's almost every corner in the league. You're not going to find the 6-foot Shermans. They're not going to grow on trees.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to work your way up. Additionally, Hargraves is from the state of Florida, born and bred. Then he went to play at the University of Florida. Wouldn't it be great if he just finished it and went and played for the professional team in the state of Florida? It makes the most sense, especially when you got a kid like this that played at Florida. That's top-notch competition playing at the University of Florida. You don't go there. It's not a small task.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of experience coming out. I mean, it's good. It's going to be good for him to staying homegrown, to staying in the area he knows so well. It'll be an easier transition than a lot of other teams. He'll be near his family. He'll be able to stay close to home in a literal sense as well. It's going to be great for him. He's going to be able to mature a little bit better being in Tampa Bay, being, close to where he's from. And I think a big part of it is that, they got a new coach. They got a new coach this year, so it's going to be a little different. They're going to have the new defensive schemes and new terminology. So he's not going to be behind in any sense of the way that other players on the defense will. With two new guys coming in, you got him, if they draft him, and Brent Grimes Brent Grimes is a great veteran to be behind. He's going to give him a lot of knowledge. Being in the NFL, he had a great career in Miami. He had a not so great, but still good career with the Falcons. And this is going to be a good fit for him.
I'm sorry, what they did to Lovey Smith is just wrong. You do not do that to Lovey Smith after basically a season. You have Jameis Winston, don't get me wrong, but I mean, what do you expect to make the playoffs or something on just one swing of the year? It's not gonna happen. I get it. The NFL, anything can happen in one season. That's all it takes. But you don't do that to a coach like Lovey Smith that's been tenured. He was with the Bears for a very long time. He knows what he's doing. But it is the NFL, and that's the business. So they do have Doug Martin at tailback. You have Jameis. You have a set. You have a wide receiver in Evans. Now it's time to shore up the defense. You have Gerald McCoy at defensive tackle, who's arguably the best one in the league. They just signed, I believe it was Robert Ayers, to go along with him to be a pass rusher. Some are going to say they should go with a pass rusher. It makes sense. You're at number 9, but there's not any top-notch pass rusher unless somebody falls. Like, if a Buckner falls, then maybe they grab him. It goes with a couple other players like Bosa, but at 9, you're sitting pretty. I could see the Bucks going in a couple different directions. They could easily go up a couple spots. They grab someone if they really love them.
Mhm.
They could stay at 9. I know the Giants would love to get their hands on Hargraves. That's the next pick at number 10 to round out the top 10. Or they could trade back to get a few other pieces. It makes sense, but I think the Bucks stay at 9. They take the best player available, and they'll work with the talent. Hargraves is such a talented corner that they'll just add another piece to compete in that tough division.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice for them, for their defense, to get a what they hope is going to be a cornerstone of that defense. And with Brett Grimes being a little older, eventually Hargrove is going to be sliding into that number 1 position if he pans out the way that they would hope that he does.
Mhm.
Part of the problem with taking a smaller cornerback, like you said, the Shermans don't grow on trees. You know, you're not going to get a tall cornerback that's going to be able to go up and compete, especially in a division where big wide receivers is kind of what they have in that division. I mean, it's really hard to compete with a guy who's 4 or 5 inches taller than you. That's not exactly an easy fit.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, it definitely helps to have a guy who you're gonna put out there and put him on their number 1 target and say, hey, you got to get through me first. And if he's a ball hawk, great recovery speed. Sounds like he's going to be a good fit in this defense and a good fit for what's going to be coming to him on the offensive side of the ball from these other teams in the division.
Let's be honest, he's a perfect fit for almost every team in the league. If you got size, you got speed, and good instincts, you can play anywhere. That's why I believe the Bucks will take Vernon Hargraves, number 9, out of the University of Florida.